Hi everyone, my name's Kate Kalthoff and welcome to a Stamping to Share video. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! And today I want to show you how to create this designer series paper window card. You'll notice that there's a window in the cardstock and then this wonderful, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a window sheet there and then the cardstock underneath, and it just looks so neat in real life. I was inspired to create this card by Julie Davison. She had a post on Pinterest that I fell in love with and changed it up a little bit to use current products and make it a little bit more like me. And so let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that you're going to need is cardstock for your base card. This is Daffodil Delight, cut at 5.5 by 8.5, and I've scored it at 4 1/4. And then I just fold on the mountain, and we'll take a bone folder, get this pressed over here just like so, and we're ready to roll with the next piece. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and do an inside piece of our card right away so we get that done. I've got some Stays-On ink, and we're going to use a stamp set. Oh dear, what did I do with it? Oh, here it is. It's a stamp set called Modern Mosaic. There's some really neat borders in this stamp set down here. Makes some great pieces for your cards, especially on the inside when you just want a little something to add some interest to the inside of your card. So we're going to take one of those borders. I'm going to ink it up with Stays-On black ink, and then I am just going to, I'm using a block H, and I'm just lining it up here so that it looks like it'll stamp pretty evenly along this bottom edge. Isn't that pretty? And then we're going to accent that with a little punch out. I've used the Petite Petals punch, and just a little punch out with a glue dot on the bottom. We're just going to set that right there. So the inside of our card is done. I mean, you don't want to put a lot on the inside because you want plenty of room to write, and maybe later you want to stamp a sentiment in there, but for now we're just going to leave it blank because we don't know what we're going to use this card for yet. And then the next thing that we need is we need to put our designer series paper down on this card. So we have a piece of the Watercolor Wonder Designer Series paper from the holiday, or from the Spring 2014 mini. This is cut at 2.5 by 4.5, and we're just going to go ahead and put that onto our card base. So I'm just putting a line of glue, and I know that our window is centered in the middle section of the card, and I'm leaving enough room so that it doesn't interfere outside of the border. And I'm just setting it on there because no matter where we place this, it's going to look good. And then we have, the next layer is a piece of basic black cardstock. It's cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And then what I did is I went to the Big Shot machine, and using the Apothecary Arts framelit dies, or the Apothecary Accents framelit dies. They look like this, and then the one that I'm using I actually left in the paper so you can see what it looks like. It's right there, and I ran it through the Big Shot machine, and I can just pull this out, and this is what we're going to put over our card. Now this looks just fine. You could just go with that look. It looks great. However, I discovered that if I use the Modern Mosaic embossing folder, it looked even cooler. So here it is, the Modern Mosaic embossing folder, and it just catches the light and just adds so much interest to your card. So I did run that through the Big Shot machine as well. Then we need our window sheet. So I have a window sheet. It's cut at 2.5 by 4 1/4. And I went ahead and put glue dots on the back, so you didn't have to watch me do that, but I put 3 along each edge. And then what I'm going to do is flip this over, and I'm just going to center this right onto the opening created by the Apothecary Accent framelit. There. So now we have applied our window sheet. Now we want to bump this up from the surface, so it just gives it a little more extra dimension. So I have some dimensionals here, and I'm going to add a few more to this side. And now, of course, one up in this corner, one here, and then one here. We're putting quite a few dimensionals on because this is such a large surface area, so we want to make sure that we have plenty of lift all throughout this project. And so just another couple and we'll be ready to put this on our card. All right, so we just have to flip this over, and now we're just going to center that into our card, and it looks like this. Beautiful. Now all we have to do is a little bit of decorating and we're done. So we're going to take the stamp set called Chalk Talk, and it looks just like this. It has a sentiment. It says, "I'm so grateful there's you in the world." So that's the one we're going to use today. And I have a piece of scrap paper here, and I have the sentiment on a C block, I believe. And we're just going to ink this up again with Stays on ink and stamp it right there. And then we're just going to take a large oval punch and stamp that out, or punch that out. Then we'll add a couple of dimensionals to the back. Now I did go ahead and do this in advance so that you wouldn't have to watch me do that, and this time they're ready to go on. So we're just going to set that, I think, right about there. Looks good. And now we're going to add some flowers. Just add a tangerine tango flower there. And here's a daffodil delight flower down here. Again, these are all punched out with our petite petals punch. And then another one, I think, right here. And I have kind of pulled these petals up. They look really pretty that way. And then for the finishing touch, we need some pearls. So let me see. I had them here once. Here they are. And then we need a paper piercing tool, which is right here. I'm just going to pull these pearls off the paper and set those right into our flowers. Whoops. There we go. And here's another one. And one more. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I just love how that turned out. And I hope you're inspired and that you'll want to go and make one too. So here's the inside and the outside, and I'll put both of them back in the picture for you. Hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Have a great day, and thanks so much for stopping by Stamping to Share. I truly appreciate you. Bye-bye.